Okay.
Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Fashi, and today I'll be doing my informative speech on Japanese football. Here's the preview. First, we will be going over the history of Japanese football. Second, we will see what Japanese football is like. And finally, how this sport impacts its community and its country. The background of Japanese football and the history behind it. The sport of football, aka soccer, reached Japan within 10 years of the foundation of the Football Association in London in 1863, with matches taking place between some English teachers and their pupils in Tokyo and among Western sailors in Kobe in 1871. The date for the birth of football in Japan was September 1873, and this is the official date. How it was introduced was with a game at the Naval Academy in Tokyo Bay organized by a British officer, Archibald Douglas, and his men. What the Japanese thought about football at first. While they were sitting there being introduced to the first football game ever in Japan, they were very amused. The Japanese spectators assumed it was a version of Kamari, an ancient Japanese ball game connected with the Shinto religion. Since they were amused, they had the first competitive match in the country is reputed to be the 1888 game between the Kobe Regatta and Athletic Club and the Yokohama Country and Athletic Club, a rivalry that continues to the present day. What happened after the first competitive game in 1888? After that happening in 1888, All Japan Schools Soccer Tournament held in Osaka in 1918, the English FA magnanimously dispatched a replica of the FA Cup as a gift to the fledgling footballing cousin. In 1921, the Japanese Football Association was established. Then Japan was represented at the Berlin Olympics with a team mostly made up of college students. Japan lost, and with it, the chances of sport gaining similar levels of popularity it was now being enjoyed in Europe. Now that we talked about the history of Japanese football, we'll talk about what it's like. Information on modern Japanese football. In Japan, football is the most popular sport there. Japanese football teams are currently among the highest ranked Asian teams in the world. They have a women's team, and they won the 2011 World Cup as the first Asian team ever, and then were runners-up in 2015. The levels of Japanese football. First off, competitive soccer in Japan is organized into a pyramid system similar to that in many European leagues. At the top level, you will have the hierarchy is the professional level called the J-League. Third, at the next level, you will have the semi-professional level called the Japan Football League, followed by regional and then by prefectural leagues. When did J-League begin? J-League started in 1993 and has 3 levels to it. The 3 divisions are J-League Division 1, J-League Division 2, and J-League Division 3. Each division has about 24 teams in it. Now that we saw what Japanese football is like, we'll see the impact it has on Japanese. How Japanese football impacts Japan itself. It impacted Japan by having the most successful teams, by getting Japan recognized because they were in the World Cup in 2002, 2010, and 2018. In 1983, Japan was an entrant for the FIFA World Cup qualifications. How football impacted their community. It showed them It showed their sportsmanship and their manners on and off the field. Since famous football players were showing good manners, so will their fans. This sport allows men and women to play, so it influences the people to follow their dreams. Finally, we have the pros of Japanese football. In 2019, Japan hosted the World Cup and earned $3.5 million. With the money they get, it boosts up their economy. They may hold the Olympics in Japan this year, and if so, they will enter a golden sporting year. Conclusion. This goes to show the importance of Japanese football Also, the sport in general impacts their community and also motivates people a whole lot. And here's a review. So, first, we discussed the history of the Japanese football. Then, next, we discussed what Japanese football was like. And finally, we discussed the impact that Japanese football had on Japan. There you have it.